So we're here with Stephen Bell from KeySo. Stephen, there was an announcement by the EU this morning about 5G. Can you tell us about what that announcement means?
Fundamentally, the EU has worked together with the major infrastructure suppliers within the European region to start to fund the future development over the next 10 years for the 5G development. Now, 5G is a misnomer because if you ask them what that is, they say they don't know, but they're going to research it. So this is a full research project. But they're doing about €1.5 billion from the EU and almost a matching industry investment. So there's nearly $3 billion going in, or €3 billion going into an investment around what is the next generation. And it may actually be a next layer because it's not going to throw the children out with the bathwater. But essentially, it's to ensure that the major infrastructure players within the European market are going to maintain their position. And they're looking to ensure that they're doing the right development, driving the standards, looking at the mechanisms. And from Neelie Kroes's point of view, who's the VP for the European Commission, she's really emphasizing the fact that the contribution of the telecoms industry is so great within the EU that they have to look at how do they sustain growth within the economy, and that within the one market, how do you ensure that the telecoms market becomes a key and remains a key factor in terms of economic growth. You know, I think she pointed out that it was an exciting announcement, but they want to get this out there that says that the future is around the major infrastructure manufacturers and what they're doing, and that youth employment, sector growth in automotive and others are all aspects that will continue to sort of flourish if they're putting in the investment around that. So I think it was very, very key.
And so let's maybe take a sidestep for a minute and talk about the EU market, maybe compared to the U.S. market in terms of number of players and revenue per customer, and what that might look like going forward, and what this announcement, if any, ties to that comparison.
Well, and I think that was a reference point that she made as well, which is that the EU is a single market, but that telcos may have got left behind, and telecom standards may have got behind. You've got multiple regulators, you've got European regulators, you've got different standards. And if you look at the US compared to Europe, you've got approximately about the same size user base, 300 million plus in Europe. But you've got like 4 major operators in the US, and in Europe you've got 70 plus operators. In the UK alone there's 50 plus virtual mobile operators. Average revenue is declining in Europe, it's increased in the US. You've got a faster introduction of 4G. So something's wrong with the model that they've got. And I think that they're recognizing that's got to change. And they're also recognizing that they've got to look at maintaining Europe's position as a driver within the telecom space. When you look at the price paid by Facebook for WhatsApp. WhatsApp announced this morning that they were going to be looking at doing voice on their messaging. They paid $45 per user, and the cost is not that significant when you look at what they're going to be able to do. Facebook could well become the next largest telco or mobile operator because of the fact that they're going to have messaging, they could have voice and ultimately video being delivered over the top. So there's some really interesting dynamics that are happening within this market. So besides the announcements that are going on, this dynamic of Europe, how does it compete from an infrastructure perspective? How does it compete in terms of putting stuff in, and how does it compete in terms of maintaining revenue for the incumbent operators?